I'm really glad to be here. I don't know if anybody realizes this, but about 16 or 18 years ago, I was looking in this area. I couldn't find a good location. It might have even been longer than that. I forgot the mayor's name. It was a woman. I forgot her name. But she was a good customer of ours, and she came up to the office and said, "You have to come down to our community and go to Portillo's there. I think it would go over very well." And I came down here with some of my supervisors, and we just couldn't find a good location at that particular time. So it takes me a while, but here we are. And we're glad to be here. For those of you that don't know much about Portillo's, this is what I started with. I was 23 years old. My wife was 20. We had 2 children. My wife and I were saving for a home. And all Sharon asked for out of life at that particular time was she wanted a home with a white picket fence. And we were both working very, very hard. I was not on the range not too long ago. Before that, we had $1,100 saved, and we moved from a suburb to another suburb, Villa Park. That's where I started, Villa Park, Illinois. And I realized that there was no hot dog stands in the Villa Park area. And the people that were in that particular area were mostly from Chicago. And I spent a lot of time in Chicago, and there was a hot dog stand on every corner. So I said, "Sharon, how important is it for you to have that white picket fence? A house with a white picket fence?" She said, "It's very, very important." Why? I said, "Because I'd like to take our life savings and build a hot dog stand." I won't tell you what she said, but she went crying to her mother. She says, "Mom, you know what my husband wants to do? He wants to take our life savings and start selling hot dogs." And can you believe that? And her mother, Joseph, thank you, Josephine, said, "Sit down. Look, he's working. I have a lot of jobs. I worked in factories and steel mills and forging plants and construction and post office, railroad, drove a truck, dug ditches, many, many different jobs. Unloaded boxcars, loaded trucks, drove trucks." She says, "He's working very hard. He's not going anywhere. You back him up." And she did. She's never complained about that anyway over the years. And Sharon's my high school sweetheart. I'm still married to her. And if you see in every restaurant that we have, somewhere in that restaurant, there's a couple of signs that say, "Dick loves Sharon." For example, on the other side of that door, right there where Nick Shawnee is pointing, it's carved in the cement. And then also somewhere else in the restaurant, there's a heart, and Dick loves Sharon. She'll be here probably in the next visit, or maybe the day we open, and she doesn't care what the building looks like or whatever. She wants to see where Dick loves Sharon is. So it was a struggle. I didn't even know how to make a hot dog at that time, and we had no running water or bathroom, something that you couldn't get away with this year now. If you look in the back, there was 5 50-foot garden hoses. This is a replica. The original is no longer around, but this is a replica. There was a little bit bigger box. There was 5 50-foot garden hoses that were on a reel. And I strung them across the parking lot, attached them to a silcock at an old National Food Store. They're no longer in existence. Stuck it through the window, turned on the water, stuck it through the window, filled up the steam tables that way. When the silcock was frozen in the wintertime, they don't have it here, but in this photograph, there's a large milk container. And I would take it to, my wife and I lived in an apartment in the back of the shopping center. And I would bring it down in there where they wash the clothes, washer and dryer, fill it up with water, bring it up the stairs, and fill up the steam tables that way. At night, I would put the pots and pans in a container like this, walk it across the parking lot, because like I mentioned before, we lived in the back of the shopping center in an apartment. And my wife would have the bathtub filled with soap and water, and we'd wash the pots and pans in the bathtub. One time in particular, I didn't think much of it then, but I think a lot of it now, we were washing pots and pans on our hands and knees. And I'm thinking, am I putting my families in harm's way? We had 2 young children at that time. Here I am, building a hot dog stand with boiling water. I'm on my hands and knees washing pots and pans with little scrubbies. Am I making the right moves? Well, it turned out pretty good. So from those humble beginnings to what it is today, the most exciting, interesting brand of its kind in the United States of America today. And I'm not just saying it because that's my name on there. I'm saying it because it's the truth. Look around at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Chipotle, any of them. Are they as exciting? Are they as nicely built as this? No. There's a lot of love and passion in these places. There's no brand like it in the country. The culture that we've got at Portillo's, I think, is second to none. The people that we hire. I'm a former Marine, and what I learned in the Marine Corps was the value of organization, the value of teamwork, and the value of training. All of those items I took, put them in here, and that's what I used in building it. Started off with just my wife and I, and maybe a couple kids making hot dogs, and she would just work just for lunch. You know what it was. We had an old beat-up station wagon we put in the back, and we had 2 children, 2.5 and 6 months old at that time. Roll down the window, and they had toys in the background, and my mom and dad were making hot dogs, and right after the lunch rush was nothing. She'd go back home and I'd stand in the trailer myself. Today, there's over 6,000 employees in 7 states and growing. Portillo's is the highest volume restaurant brand of its kind. There is no brand, no fast casual brand in the United States of America today that has the gross sales that Portillo's has. And I believe there's no brand in the United States of America today that has a cult-like following that Portillo's has. And it's because of our culture. It's because of the training, the amount of money that we put into not only the building, but into our people. This is a people business. You didn't get to this point just because it was a cute idea. We need people. And that's where teamwork came into play too. I'm very proud of it. I can't tell you how proud I am of it. I have to wake up and pinch myself every morning, and every morning I do thank the big guy. Anyway, I just want to welcome you all here, and hopefully I didn't bore you too much with the story.